Last night. What the hell happened last night? Eh, pretty decent night's sleep. I mean, I don't know. Kind of went by in a flash. Like, well, first I was thinking I was gonna have like issues falling asleep again. Then let's see, tried to get to bed before 11. Wound up getting to bed right around falling asleep right around midnight. So pretty easy calculation. My alarm clock was set for 7:39, so that's what woke me up. So I give myself credit for 8.5 hours. I mean, sorry, 7.5 hours. I didn't think it was a good idea to round that up to 8 hours. I mean, in reality, it's more like 7 hours, 7 hours, 38 minutes. Yeah, I could have easily rounded it up, but yeah, it's like that's 20 minutes shortfall, so I'm not gonna do that. Alright, so if you're joining me for the first time, welcome. Basically, I live stream my sleep apnea treatment. That's what you're seeing in the replay right behind me. And yeah, basically after every live stream, basically every night I live stream, I come on TikTok live and just do a little sleep review. Basically, go over the footage, talk about how I slept. We have a discussion about sleep apnea, which is a sleep disorder I'm treating. So, all right. So we'll get into it. I mean, it's actually a pretty straightforward night of sleep, to be honest. It was like 7.5 hours, start to finish, no wake ups. Well, if you count the trouble getting to sleep, like, yeah, here I am. Okay, here's what happened. Like, first sleep was registered 11:55 p.m. and without my live stream, I got into bed right before 11. Yep, that's me waving hi to the live stream. Putting on my sleep apnea therapy headgear. That's mask, the hose, and the machine. And then I kind of lay there for. Typically, you don't want to lay in bed and try to like fall asleep, like more than like half an hour. So eventually, around the 11:30 point, I'm going to give up and climb back into bed after doing something to relax. So, alright, let's see. So, I was kind of iffy about this. I was looking at this before and I was thought, am I asleep? I'm like, probably not. I recognize most of these emotions and they're like conscious movements. Like, whoa, that is the air conditioning. Gotta mute that. Alright, let me turn the volume down a little bit more. I'm a professional video editor. Alright. Okay, so, alright. It was a little, on the warm side last night. Hey, Willie. Hey, good to see you. Yeah. I haven't done lives this late in a while. Like, kind of had a full day. Just kind of never sat down to edit the. I mean, I had the whole thing edited like around noon, but I just never got around to like reviewing it. And yeah, I hadn't decided what number of hours to award myself. I was gonna go with 8, but I I mean, no, honestly, it's probably like 7 hours, 45 minutes. All right, so 11:55 is when it first registers sleep. Now I remember I laid my the back of my hand is on the Vaporeon plushie right there. All right, so that I remember. Yeah, thank you, Willie. All right, yeah, have a good day at work. All right, so 11:55 is when first registers sleep, and I can pretty much attest to that. I don't remember any of this. Hey, Thomas asks, what was the worst case scenario about sleep apnea? Is it possible to unalive? Yeah. So basically, if anyone doesn't know how sleep apnea works, it's a sleep disorder. It causes you to stop breathing multiple times per evening. I can answer that next question in a moment, but this thing about it, so multiple times per evening, you're depriving your brain and body of oxygen, and people with severe sleep apnea, like I have, I got diagnosed. I would stop breathing 70 times per hour. So just think about that. Like 70 times per hour, I would stop breathing a little bit. And that kind of damage adds up. I mean, it may not unalive you like right away, but like that plus heart disease. I mean, sleep apnea itself may not unalive you, but it will lead to other, health consequences that can unalive you way earlier than you'd want. And how can I sleep with headphones on? It's pretty easy. Just put them on, and they actually help me tune out the noise and actually help me stay asleep. Gilbert, sleep apnea is a sleep disorder which causes the airway, that's the path between the nose, mouth, and the lungs, to collapse at night. So a partially closed airway results in snoring. So that's one of the first symptoms of sleep apnea, is the snoring. And then the other symptom is the apnea. So it's basically when the person stops breathing at night. So severe sleep apnea is the more frequent occurrence of those apneas. So people can snore and not have sleep apnea. Well, most people with sleep apnea do snore. Is twitching a symptom? Possibly. It's maybe like a different thing. Ooh, that's the sound of the buzzing on the recording. How does technology help with the disorder? So basically, it's pretty simple actually. The mask is covering my nose and mouth, goes to this hose up here by Baby Yoda, and right over here is the machine. And the machine pretty much pressurizes air, sends it through the tube, and keeps my airway open. So people with sleep apnea, they'll snore. This will basically prevent it, because it's like keeping the airway closing. I mean, you replace the snoring sound with the gentle hiss of the machine. So Gilbert, you twitch at night and you never knew you did? Well, again, until someone tells you like what you do at night, you'll never know. Like basically people told me all my life that I snored, and I call it. And then the apneas, that was the part where I kind of, Darth Pizza Rolls. Yeah, like I say, it's just gentle hiss. For me, it kind of bothers me. That's why the noise canceling headphones help a lot for me. Win, appreciate you saying that. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's a sleep disorder, and people gotta know about it. I mean, basically, I just wrote it off as snoring for most of my life, and like basically until my friends convinced me to get the diagnosis. So I was like, I'm gonna ace this test, and it's like, no, you have severe sleep apnea. I'm like, fudge. Cool, but I sleep a lot better now, mentally and physically. Well, both, obviously. Alright, let me go back to my sleep tracker real quick. I just want to look at the different sleep stages I was in. 6 events per hour, Dark Pizza Rolls, yeah. Mine was 70. Ooh, do I ever wake up during my sleep? Yeah, occasionally. So, this is actually a pretty rare night. Last night was pretty rare. So you see those orange spikes? Those are awake moments. Now, none of them are particularly long. Like, I didn't get out of bed. Well, technically, I got into bed around 10 and didn't fall asleep. So that's insomnia. But yeah, there is possibility of waking up in the middle of the night just for random reasons. For me, I figured out sound, or recently it's been coughing. I had the flu like a month ago at this rate. And I don't know, maybe just a little lingering cough, or it could just be seasonal allergies too. The seasons are changing. Yeah, so this is a pretty rare night. No, like, basically I fell asleep 11:55. That's the beginning of this, and then woke up 7:39, which is pretty good. Yeah, let me look at some of these sleep stages. Actually, it probably won't be much to see, so I'll just speed run these sleep stages. There's deep sleep. That's the little purple sections right here. Didn't get a whole lot of that. Actually, no, I actually got like an hour of that, and I also got an hour and a half of REM sleep. That's rapid eye movement sleep. That's the light blue portion. How old was I when I was diagnosed with sleep apnea? In my 30s. I wish I was diagnosed earlier because it explains a lot more things. Star's pizza rolls. You're down to 1 event per hour. Yeah, pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Yeah, got plenty of usage on the machine. Got a 99. The only thing I lost a point for last night was taking the mask off 3 times. So a couple of one false start, 1 or 2 false starts, like getting into bed, getting into bed, taking the mask off, getting into bed, taking the mask off. That's 3 masks off. So that docked me a point. So, I mean, here I am complaining about, well, I'm not complaining about 99. I'm glad I got a 99. But that's my air score. That's from the sleep apnea machine. Alright. And 7.5 hours is a pretty decent amount of sleep, so I'm not complaining, but I'm here to talk about it at least. So, yeah, let me go back to the real-time-ish footage and just fast forward through this while I look for anything of note. Oh, the other thing I forgot to do was set the autofocus to lock on this bottom camera, so it's gonna like, this is only something like again, like a video editor would notice, like the bottom picture keeps like shifting in and out of focus. Alright. I said it was pretty warm last night. I'm dreading the time of the year we have to run the air conditioner overnight, but I can already hear it. Yeah, my air conditioner, like, the window's right behind my head. It's pretty loud, so I don't like the warm weather. Oh, the hell, connect to show the RAM. Yes, this is the sleep tracking data from my Apple Watch. When you also cross your legs like that? Yeah, I do that. Something I do, like, I pretty much do it every time I sit down, too. It's kind of weird. Kind of something that's always translates into my sleep. Cool. Alright. So, like I said, it's pretty much no notes except for maybe could have gotten more sleep, I think. Last night, got into bed 10:50 and fell asleep an hour later. Like an hour to fall asleep. That's not great, but you know, that's probably a good note for me to actually start winding down. Yeah, I usually don't do lives this late, but you know, get a little bit of it, unhinged thoughts about sleep apnea and all that. Ooh, okay. All right, so what about my REM stages? I'm just curious if my eye mask drops at all. And yeah, I do sleep with the lights on. That's just to help the live stream footage. But the lights actually aren't that bright. I mean, obviously they're still on. That's, most people will argue with the lights being on part being like disruptive to sleep. I agree with that. I get it. But also they're like at like 10% brightness of like maximum. Actually, I'll show you what maximum brightness is. With the sun, okay, so this is lights basically off, maybe like 1 or 2 computer screens lighting up the room, and this is maximum brightness. This is every light on. This is like my good morning scene in my home settings. It's like boom, every light turns on. Yeah, so I sleep in the much dimmer version of that. Alright, but yeah, otherwise not a whole lot to talk about. I guess it's gonna be a pretty short live. But I could talk about my sleep trends, sleep tracking, sleep trends. Alright, so got some REM sleep. I did dream about something, I can't remember. Did I write anything down in my dream journal? I might have. if I remembered to, I would have probably just like what? Oh, something about a tiny dog. That that had to have been last night. Okay, yeah, I jotted something down in my space. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I jotted something on my dream journal. I was like, why did I type that? Oh, now I remember. Yeah, something about a weird. I keep getting. I go on TikTok and I keep getting these like AI generated images of a dog, and I'm like, there's real dogs. I want pictures of real dogs. I don't want pictures of fake dogs. Come on, TikTok. Come on, you guys can do better than that. There's real dogs out there. I want their picture taken. All right, that's my rant about AI dogs. I think that's probably why that's why I dreamed about like really tiny puppies. Oh, I'm all thinking about is tiny puppies. All right. Alright, so now got plenty of REM sleep. Oh, you can't see the percentages. Let me scroll down here, show you the percentage of each sleep stage. So basically, I had 21% REM, 65% core, and we'll call it 13% deep. So, core sleep is like light sleep, so it's you're prone to like tossing and turning, and I'm actually well. Let me look. We'll go back to the time lapse, and we'll see this all over again. Like, so midnight basically is when sleep starts. So, boom, sleep. Okay. So yeah, I see the tossing and turning, but I don't actually move that much. I don't think I sleep in any other position, but like that. I'm actually like besides crossing the legs just there, and crossing legs and the foot tapping all the time. I'm actually remarkably impressed how little I toss and turn. Usually I'm on my side now. Arguably, side sleeping is a little bit better for people with sleep apnea because the airway doesn't close as easily. But that's why I have the machine. The machine gives me the right to sleep on my back all I want, and that's all my body seems to want to do. It always wants to get off the. I can try to like go to sleep on my side, but I'll always end up on my back. That sounded suggestive. No. All right. So what am I gonna do differently tonight? Well, it's coming up a couple hours until bedtime, so I should start winding down. I'm not gonna let this guy live go too long. I've been live for like 20 minutes. I'm go a little bit longer then. Okay, so definitely the wind down needs to start soon. So I'm gonna think about that. Basically, no notes from the other side, like from the rest of the night. I mean, besides the two false starts. Again, getting into bed at 10, 10:50, getting out of bed like 10:20, 10:20, 20:30. How do I wind down to get good sleep? So it's things like tapering off for caffeine nice and early. Like, I can barely do caffeine past 5 or 6 these days, so I'll usually want to avoid caffeine. What else? Also, my sleep doctor gives me some substances, which we're going to discuss specific substances here on the live, because that's how you get certain TikTok lives contact flagged, I guess. All right, let me do one thing real quick for my sleep tracking. So yeah, how do I wind down? I mean, sleep consistency is not too bad. I mean, oh yeah, I'm just looking at this. Like, look how consistent like my bedtime is. I mean, Sunday night was just a disaster on its own because I basically could not fall asleep for the life of me. Yeah. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I could not fall asleep for the life of me on Sunday nights. So, and I had to wake up early Monday. So, sorry, I just had to take a sip. Um, yeah, Sunday night into Monday was probably the only outlier there. That's holding my average back. Hey, do I exercise? I was pedaling under my bed, my desk a little bit. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't get as much cardio as I should. Do I take supplements? That's my signal to take a supplement. What? B12? I had magnesium. That's one of the supplements people recommend for sleep. C3PO. I'm more of a Darth Vader, if anything. Remember, C3PO is a droid. He doesn't need to breathe. Darth Vader's the. I'm actually but no. Yeah, the breathing machine's more like Darth Vader's chest box. You know, lets him breathe. But yeah, dreams about sand. No, I'm gonna make prequel memes. Actually, I gotta catch up on Endor. Do I have a script? Would you? Oh, no. If you're in the U.S. insurance system, I think it's a free for all of like whatever insurance coverage you can get as whatever they'll do for you and what's covered and what's not. So, going out of pocket might seem like a good idea to try to cut the hassle out, but you kind of have to do it with you, especially when you're in this insurance. I can't speak for anyone else in the world. I can barely speak for anyone else outside of my state, to be honest. Alright, so yeah, pretty much no notes from last night, except I wish I slept longer. I think that the key to that will just be to get to sleep earlier tonight. Well, yeah, let me go back to that sleep consistency chart. Yeah, last night was basically the worst night trying to fall asleep since Sunday night. So, I mean, last night, Monday night, I basically fell asleep right away, but then I woke up and then I went to sleep, woke up. So that's kind of annoying. But yeah, nice solid block. Like, this solid block is pretty nice. Was it Thursday night and a Friday? That was a pretty decent night's sleep. And then Friday night, since I know I could kind of sleep in, I slept all the way until 10 a.m. Yeah, you can tell when the weekend started. It was a holiday weekend too, so yeah. I hope I'm not promoting BS. No, I definitely do not advocate for mouth taping. Yeah, mouth taping is definitely BS. Or, okay, I won't support it. You see, I'm big on the machine. Not promoting BS tape. Yeah, mouth taping is. Yeah, I can't personally endorse it because it would basically fly in the face, literally fly in the face of my sleep apnea treatment. It would be covering up one of my major airways. Again, it's the theory is, or what they'll try to sell you on mouth taping is that you could teach yourself to breathe through your nose. I mean, yeah, but I'm a mouth breather, so yeah, what am I gonna do in the meantime? I'm not gonna. So I hate to put it in these terms, but this is the way I'll describe it. If sleep apnea is choking me, why would I let something else cover up my mouth? Yeah, that's why mouth taping. Oh, you have the same brand of wipes? Yep. The most generic-ish brand on Amazon. See them right next to Pikachu. Boom. There they are. 110 count. Yes, I listened to a YouTube playlist of two guys talking about Star Trek Next Generation. Now, what I realized I liked about that, and I tried different, like, white noise, like, they talk about the episodes, they give them a review and everything, they have, like, they wisecrack about them a little, hey Harry, thank you for the follow, and they'll, say some funny things, not like super like rockets laughing, but they embed. Hey, Jordan, thank you for the follow. They layer in just a little bit of the noise of the Enterprise, like the engine hum of the Enterprise from Next Generation. So I tried just listening to the engine hum as like white noise. Didn't quite have the same effect. I just kept like, I just didn't have anything to like focus on. Well, basically when I'm listening to like a YouTube video that I've watched multiple times already, you can kind of tune out, like your brain kind of just like goes to different places and then fall asleep. Reach. How did I find out I have sleep apnea? Well, basically I had to get diagnosis, and I wish I could tell you that I was gung-ho about getting the diagnosis, but basically my friends had to convince me to go see a doctor and ask about it, and I was kicking and screaming the whole time. Jordan, you listen to a you listen to a baseball podcast? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that actually, I can imagine that could be very interesting. Yeah, used to. I was not sleeping here. Yes, I was actually. Well, I can push play. I paused the time lapse here, so check it out. Officially it said I fell asleep at 11:55. So watch. Boom, should be out now. Yeah, there's definitely signs that I'm twitching, like my legs twitch, my fingers do this like twitching thing whenever I'm asleep too. You can watch that on the top of the screen sometimes. Yeah, but yeah, how do I sleep like that? Every night? No. Well, the white mask right here, that's the sleep apnea mask. That treats sleep apnea. That prevents me from snoring and prevents me from that keeps me breathing at night, because sleep apnea basically stops you from breathing periodically during the night, especially if. Oh yeah, so sleep apnea is a sleep disorder. Basically causes the airway to close. Now I have obstructive sleep apnea. It's basically the shape and size of my airway basically are prone to closure at night. So when the airway closes partially, you create the snoring sound. You hear like, air passing through. It's like, yeah, that's basically the sound of snoring. So snoring is the most common symptom of sleep apnea, but the most dangerous symptom is when the breath stops altogether, and then you hear nothing, or you hear choking or gasping for air. That's the serious part of sleep apnea. The snoring obviously is, very loud and very, if you're sleeping with a partner, then that disrupts two people's sleep essentially. So that when people say, "Oh yeah, sleep apnea," like you can never sleep next to a person with sleep apnea. Well, try to sleep next to a person who's snoring, and then come back to me in 3 months after some sleep deprivation. Let me know if you would rather take your partner on the machine. I mean, come on, it's pretty simple. Like one machine and then 2 people sleep better. Yeah, it's pretty simple math there. I hope that answers most of your questions about sleep apnea. Oh yeah, so basically my gist of my lives is I live stream my sleep apnea treatment. So basically you can tune into this every night. In fact, we're probably going live in like a couple hours. The link to my channel is in my bio. And here on TikTok Live, I post the time lapse, basically a sped up version of the live stream. And yeah, that's basically it. Cool. So what's the goal tonight? I'm gonna try to meet or exceed the amount of sleep I got last night, which is 7.5 hours. Ideally, I want like 8 hours. 8.5 is the goal. How many times? Well, 8.5 has been my average for the last 7 days. But a lot of that, the weekend is pulling a lot of that weight. And I can tell you this coming weekend is going to be a little bit of a struggle. I think I'm going to be on the road maybe one night. Jordan, which machine do I have? I have the ResMed AirSense, AirCurve 10. Ooh, I can't even see it. Let me put it into view. I have the AirCurve 10, which is the BiPAP version of the ResMed unit. So let's zoom in right there. Yeah, here you're gonna see me like do the mask setup. That's something I recommend to people just starting their sleep apnea treatment is to get used to running the mask fit test each night. Yeah, so it's going to give me either a smiley face or a frowny face. Yep, I can see a flash red for just a moment. I think I just took a big inhale. Yeah, so that's the BiPAP machine I'm on. Again, so BiPAP as compared to CPAP, that stands for bi-level positive airway pressure, while the C in CPAP stands for constant positive airway pressure. So you get like one pressure that, you know, goes in your airway, you know, and adjusts throughout the night. While as BiPAP, you get two levels of pressure: one inhale pressure and one exhale pressure. Yeah, actually, that hose hanger, I found a decent one on Amazon, and basically what it replaced was just a phone arm that I was using, like a little grippy like phone arm, and I thought this hanger would lift it up higher, and it lifts it up almost exactly the same height. Yeah, if you want to get an idea of what the phone arm is, I'll show you my. I'll confess my sins right there. Right there, I have my phone on another arm right there, so that's a really bad idea. You do not want your phone that close to reach, especially if you want to try to get good sleep, but I kind of have no self-control when it comes to my phone at night, so best case scenario, I put the YouTube playlist playing and I push the phone away out of reach, and I can adjust the volume or skip a track on my headphones. But yeah, cool. So yeah. All right. So thank you all for joining for this sleep review. Again, I'll just put what did I get? 7.5 hours. Oh, thank you for the boxing gloves. Appreciate you, Coop. Cool. 7.5 hours. All right. So 7.5 hours time beat from last night. So I guess I should get to it. Yeah, I've only been live for a half hour, but I don't want to get too worked up this late at night because yeah, you're welcome, Matt. Coop. Have a good one. Yeah, I definitely don't want to like get worked up this late at night because then I'll have trouble falling asleep later. All right, so mistakes I can fix tonight. Well, getting to bed 10:50 again. On a ideal night, I would have been out by 11:30, and then I would have had a full 8 hours of sleep under my belt. But like 10:30, 10:45, that was pushing. I think I closed the amount of time I had, so I'm definitely gonna try err on the having more time because I'd like to be rested tomorrow. I have quite a busy day tomorrow, come to think of it. Alright, so getting bed earlier tonight would be nice. Alarm's still gonna be the same. Pretty good coverage with the eye mask and the headphones. The headphones didn't pop off, and the headphones didn't like keep me from hearing my alarm clock, so that was good. Yeah, the eye mask stayed down all night. Yeah, Jordan, you're welcome, and thank you. All right, so that's where I'm going soon. So I'll be live on my channel shortly. The link is in my bio. Check that out. Yeah, it's nothing to see. It's just this in real time. Just imagine watching this, but it takes the full 7.5 hours to watch it. Now, this isn't the time-lapse version is what I have posted on. Do I have high blood pressure? I've had up and down high blood pressure. I've actually been trying to use this blood pressure cuff lately. My health could be better. I mean, sleep, I'm doing better these days, but like in general, my health has seen better days. But better days start with a good night's sleep, so that's where I'm heading right now. Oh, where are you getting high blood pressure? Duncan? Do what you can, see what your doctor says. I mean, right now my doctor didn't say anything about my blood pressure. I am pre-diabetic though, so definitely don't want type 2 diabetes. I mean, I can stave that off as best I can. Yeah, among other reasons for trying to stay healthy. All right. Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing, Jumbo Slice. I hope you can, well, hope you can treat your sleep apnea and have your blood pressure. Again, the negative effects of sleep apnea are basically counterproductive to most health, unless the only thing sleep apnea helps you get is sleep deprivation. That's what you're aiming for. Hey, it's a free country for now. All right, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and call that a live. Again, don't want to get too long. Not much to talk about. 7.5 hours. Didn't wake up. Didn't wake up. So I don't have anything to prevent in that scenario. But definitely do want to get to bed earlier tonight. So I'm gonna call it live right now. So peace out. And yeah, have a good one. Thank you, Jumbo Slice. I'll see y'all later. Peace out.